started tonight, I just wanted to welcome you all as well. My name is Paula, and I've had the privilege of getting to know some of you even just through the phone. Even today, as someone called to say, hey, I heard about this little black dress thing. I've heard about your Wear Love seminars, and I just needed a place to come and be encouraged. Can I come? Yes, you can. That's what we're all about. So we're so excited that all of you are here. And I'm sorry I'm out of breath. That little tiny run from here to the door, that is sad. I'm out of shape. But I just want to share with you real quickly our mission as a Little Black Dress event and the Wear Love community. Our mission is to inspire women to outfit themselves in God's love so that they can walk their individual runways of life with joy and with confidence. And we are all in it together to help inspire one another to do that. And there are 3 parts of our mission. And number 1, it is to be loved. And that is what our Little Black Dress event is all about. When you come, you will see that it's all about showering love on the ladies so that they can experience what it really means and feels like to be loved. The second part of our mission is to live loved. And that's what our Wear Love seminars are. That is when we come together and keep inspiring and encouraging one another along the way to live out the love that we've been called to. And the last one, as I'm still trying to catch it, the last one is give love. And that is in our everyday lives, hopefully because we've been loved and we've been in this community together, living loved, in our everyday lives, hopefully we start giving that love away to others. So that's what we're all about, and we're so excited to have you with us tonight. If it is your first time with us, you've not been to Little Black Dress event, you've not been to a Wear Love seminar, if that is you, we have a special gift for you. Is that anybody in this room? Okay, some of my team, can you see the raised hands? And whoa, all right, we have several. We're giving you a little calendar gift that keeps that mission in front of you. The be loved, live loved, and give love. So we hope you enjoy that and are inspired by that. And we're so glad you're here with us. So, as Angela already said, tonight we have a really special gift to start out our night. First part of it is going to be the seminar, and then we're going to go to the back and have a little party and talk about all the ways that you can be on Team Little Black Dress 2019. But before that, we have a gift, and that is Krystal Crockett. She is going to share with us her story. But one incredible thing about Krystal is, how long have I known you, Krystal?
11 years, 10 years? 10 years?
Yeah, she was just a baby when I met her. I do remember she had just gotten married, and I was like, who's that cute little married couple? And I was brand new at church. Anyway, I met Krystal, but from the very beginning of this Little Black Dress journey, Krystal has been by my side making it happen. She is a make it happen kind of girl, but beyond that, a lot of times when somebody is really good with the details, they're not always really good with the people and with the heart. But Krystal has both. And I so respect that in her. But we watched Krystal go through some tough times over the past couple of years, and instead of it sending her to a place of bitterness and running away, it sent her to a place of becoming better. And that's such an encouragement to all of us. And so she's going to share some of her story with us tonight. As she comes forward, let's give her a round of applause. Let's sit and be ready and expectant as she shares with us tonight.
Woo! Can't run on the stage and not pretend like I'm on The Price is Right. Sorry. Thank you so much, Paula. This is awesome. Thank you all so much for being here. I know some of you are here for the snacks, and some of you are here for this, so I'm okay with everything. I did, again, I hope everyone has a piece of chocolate. If not, since no one's on this side, whenever we're done, there's extra chocolate over here. So as Paula said, I am Krystal. I am newly 35 years old this week. Yeah, thank you. And I am married to the world's chillest man. So me as a control freak, it works out very interestingly sometimes. We have 4 awesome kids. We have Anne Renee, Lucas, Logan, and Liam. And they are 16, 5, 3, and 1. So, now, as Paula said, and I'm going to put this to the side a little bit. There we go. As Paula said, I am a doer, and I have been a doer all of my life. I'm typically that person that says, oh, I can do that. I can help you with that. Do you need that? There's an app for that. I can figure this out. We can do this. Anything there is I can do that. So I started, I enjoy that. It makes me happy. My love language is acts of service. Like, I want to help you. That's what fills me up. But I started really thinking, especially over this last year, like, wonder where that comes from. Like, why do I like doing all of that? Why do we do this? And so then I talked about, like, I really like to be in control a lot. And I don't know if you've ever looked up control, but you can dictate the running of something or oversee everything. So basically, you can make sure it happens how you want it to. That's me. Yeah. So I want to put a disclaimer on that though, because we are going to talk about Team LBD. So I want to talk about. So there is doing because you are serving, helping, being the hands and feet of Jesus, and you want to. It comes from a place of wanting. And then there is doing so nobody else can mess it up. So that's what we're going to talk about two different types of doing there. Whenever I talk about doing, typically that's where I am, unfortunately. We're still working on it. Again, I'm in recovery. So whenever I start looking back, I've had, again, Paula said it's been a rough few years, and that has also left time for reflection, lots of videos, lots of books, lots of therapy, lots of everything, and it makes you kind of go back, like, why am I like that? Okay, so I think about, I was, so I went back to when I was young, like, because that's when it started. Like, I was that kid, like, ooh, mom's not having a good day. I'm gonna clean the kitchen, and then mom's gonna have a good day. So my mom was single when I was young. She was often, she's a great mother. I love my mom, but she was a young single woman. She had this need, her hole in her heart, she typically filled with work or alcohol or men. She was still a very good mother to me, but I got the most attention when I did something. If I did something good, if I did, if I cleaned the kitchen, if I did that, and I was an awesome kid, let's be honest, but I wanted to get all that attention. My dad, on the flip side, my dad was in and out of prison until I was 21 years old. When he was out of prison, up until the time I was 21, he was usually high whenever I saw him. And even being, younger, starting to go through therapy, I was like, I don't get it. Why would someone want to be on, why would they want to do this and go away from their kids? And I had a very blunt gentleman in one of my groups go, well, your dad loves you. We're not going to deny that your dad loves you, but he's always going to love drugs more. And it was like, challenge accepted. Okay. So I was the first chair in clarinet. I was the top grade. I was the top 10% of the admission exam. I was the most common altar server in all of the church, because if you get there early, they're always going to ask you to do it. I took the SAT, twice before my sophomore year of high school. Everything I could do, I did. Because, my gosh, if I was doing all that, how could you see me and not love me? I was amazing. Come on. Or annoying, whichever way you want to be on that. So I was always, again, it was like, how can I, not thinking this, of course, as a 15-year-old, 16-year-old girl, but like, how can I do more? I want people to love me. Even when I started dating, it was, what can I do to make you love me? Do you need a ride? Do you need a meal? Do you need any of these other things that I could do for you to see me and for you to love me? We'll fast forward just a touch there. That, again, for me, I'm trying to backfill that hole in my heart that has been left by, this absence that I've had. Fast forward to the May of my junior year. It's Memorial Day weekend, and instead of figuring out a way for people to buy me beer, disclaimer, I'm picking up a pregnancy test because wait, something's not right. So before I graduated high school, the January of my senior year, I had Anne Renee. Again, most people are going to go, "Ooh, this is probably where it starts turning." I'll tell you right now, that little girl saved me right then. I can look back, and there were so many times that I am just lucky that I got out, unscathed. She was the thing that put the brakes on all of my destructive living and going, okay, I have to figure something out. And now, although that little girl was the world's hardest baby. We can all exchange hard baby stories. She was hard to deliver. That was traumatic. Then she had colic. Then she was lactose intolerant. Then she wouldn't sleep. Then she wouldn't walk. Then she wouldn't stop talking. Then, she was so hard. At 10 months old, this child would not go to sleep without practically being pinned down. Like, she just would not stop moving. That was around the time, not related to her not being able to sleep. Her dad and I split up. So then I find myself 19 years old, baby, moving back in with my mom and grandpa and going, oh, this is all on me now. Like, now I have to work. Now I have to do all this. I got my GED, so I have that. We're doing okay. So I just start doing. So now I have to do because we have to eat. Like, that's it was go to work, come home, figure out where she's going to go. Is she going to go with Nana? Is she going to go to the daycare? Is she going to go here? Is she going to go there? So I'm constantly doing. Now that served me pretty well. But as she aged a little bit, Anna Ray was always busy. She never stayed still. When she was 4, we were like, doctor, I was like, something's going on here. We're not even making it through pre-K days, the half pre-K days. So we finally end up at the doctor, and they're like, she's ADHD. I'm like, okay, we can do that. So we went through everything. We went through, the skin brushing. I don't know if anyone's ever done that. We went through the high protein diet. We went through cutting out red 40. We went through cutting out processed meats. We did everything. We did end up on medication. She was able to start getting through school. Something's still off. This is not like she's still hyper. If you met, okay, maybe not at 16. She's not very hyper right now, but I don't know a lot of hyper 16-year-olds. When she was 10, she was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. We're like, okay, this starts to make more sense. You start reading on it, and you're like, okay, we can do that. Then after that, so we start learning about that, figuring things out. Then, she would always have fits. Like, it was a struggle. It was a struggle to get in her anywhere. We almost got kicked out of pre-K, got kicked out of almost every daycare. Coming to church was hard. And it was just, it was always a struggle. Like, why was it so hard? When she was 13, and all the hormones kicked in, less hormones, that's when we started hearing the term bipolar. Now, they don't want to put that label on a 13-year-old, so we're not officially diagnosed, but basically it's like, we're not going to write this on paper, but we're going to act like everything is like this. So with that, so now we're like, okay, we start talking about that, and we start, we're going through seems like every week, it's a doctor's appointment or a medication change or an IEP meeting or therapy or, trying to change the diet, trying to do, whatever we can to fix it, and it's just getting worse. Like, nothing is getting better. Now, in that time, I've told you that I have 3 other children. So, like I said, in that time, Erin was about 6 when Nathan and I got married. About 5.5 years later, we had Luke. And then 22 months later, we had Logan. And then 26 months later, we had Liam. So it got, a little fast and furious with children just everywhere over there. I wouldn't do the 11-year split, God has an interesting sense of humor sometimes. But again, with all that, Internet never got better. Like, it just, everything we tried. I was like, we need to try this again. If I need to cut something out, if I need to add something in, if I need to read something, if I need to research something, we're going to do it. We've done, again, we had almost gotten to the point where we had practically done everything we really could. We were seeing and doing and adding and taking away as much as we could. Then we got to 2018. That's going to sound really dramatic, but as, again, Paula kind of keyed this up. So 2018 was already going to be a big year. I was going to be completing my last semester of college. I was due with a baby in February. Work was already, 2017, we had already set the stage for some big things, and so we were going to be, we had big projects planned. It was going to be awesome. We weren't going to miss a beat. However, so in 2018, I'm going to read off some things for you. So we had 3 physical attacks from Aunt Renee. My mom is diagnosed with cancer and then refuses treatment. A week later, Liam is born. Then a couple months later, I graduate OSU with my bachelor's degree. We had 1 call to Bixby Police, 2 calls to COPS, 1 totaled car, One DHS investigation, my husband is told to leave home by DHS. One baby with a broken arm during the DHS investigation. One case of MRSA near death for my mom. One suicide threat from Aunt Renee. One residential mental health facility stay and a subsequent fight with insurance. Then a denied stay in a residential mental health facility and thousands in necessary medical bills. Then finally my mom starts chemo and radiation begrudgingly and falls deeper into her opiate addiction. Y'all. I love the faces. That's fine. I couldn't do my way out of any of that. Was absolutely no way. We were at the end of doing. I had already tried everything. We're gonna go, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. And you know, it was like there was no strategy I could set here, there were no goals I could set here, there were no tactics. Angela couldn't have pulled me out of this one. And she's good. However, I finally got to the point where I was like, oh, Jesus, take the wheel. That's what we are right here. Now again, I'm gonna kind of put a little bow on that because you're not here to listen to all of my wow, that was really tough. I do have a therapist, I pay her, she's beautiful, I love it. I go and I do all that. And I'm also not gonna tell you that, okay, we figured it all out, everything was good. No, there were many days where I sat on my bathroom floor and cried. I don't know why the bathroom floor is always the best, I think because it's the cool tile. It's refreshing, especially now when you're hot. Robin has many Marco Polos from me where you'll know that not doing so well over here. I'm just gonna need to get this all out. And I got, but I did have, I had that support from family who would listen to me. I had that support from friends. I had all of that. And now we're about a year, we're almost to a year from the culmination. It's been a long enough time to kind of step back, look at that hindsight as 2020. And one of the big things that I've noticed that God was showing me during all of that was, you can't do this because you're not supposed to do this. You need to be still. Okay, still. I can't even be on this stage and be still. So I was like, and it was one of those things you're like, are you sure? Are you sure I can't do this? I can make 3 more phone calls, and I saw that YouTube video. I think we could do this. We could do the neurofeedback. I've heard great things about it. We can do that right now, right? Right this second. But he's telling me, shh, I got this. Got it. So now, again, I'm looking, I look back and I look through my Instagram, I look through my journal, I look through all these things, and I start seeing where God was setting this up. Where he was like, reminder, it's me. You don't have to worry about it. Just shh, be still. I can look back at schedules of, again, devotionals that were just, someone else is doing it. I'm not even telling them what's going on. They're just doing their schedule. That's it. Sermons that are going on. People are randomly telling me I'm in meetings. And, we stumbled upon, you get the last 20 minutes of the meeting and it's no longer the meeting and you're just randomly going over there. Someone's like, my favorite verse is, be still and know that I am God. And it's funny because that person is also not a still person. If I could say that there's another person that goes even more and faster than I am, this person would be on the top of the list. And I was like, okay. Now, in my life, I have always been, I've trusted God. There's been many times, again, no food in the kitchen, no car in the driveway because they repoed it. There's been a lot of times where I'm like, okay, God, okay, I get it, you can do this. But I'm gonna help you just a little bit. And, as I was preparing for this, I was like, there's a couple times I can think of in the Bible that happened. I was like, okay. Because of course, again, Nathan's like, are you gonna get to the Bible? And then I'm like, yes, we got it. So of course, Sarah. Now Sarah and Abraham were literally told by the voice of God, this is what's going to happen. Most of us don't get that. Most of us have to be like, okay, God's plan is good. I really knew what it looked like right now. That would be awesome. But it didn't happen in her time that she thought it was going to. So she was like, you know what, God, I'm just going to get in the middle here. I'm going to help you out a little bit, make everything speed up. And it was devastating for her family. We have Moses. Moses saw some really weird stuff go down that God said was going to happen. Red Sea parted, quail and manna from heaven, water from the rock once. Name it. And he had seen it. He had talked to God. He knew it. So God tells him again, speak to the rock. And Moses is like, yeah, but last time I hit the rock. Okay, we're going to speak to the rock. Well, then he gets frustrated because the Israelites are not believing. So he's just like, I'm hitting the rock. It's rock before, I'm done, I'm hitting it. Devastates his whole life. The promise is taken away. So again, my second verse that came to me is, the Lord will fight for you. Why did I print in black and white so you can't control everything? I'm looking for my red words. They weren't there. But it's Exodus 14:14. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. So I was like, okay. Again, I'm still kind of like, are you sure? But again, I had nowhere else to go. I couldn't do it anymore. So I started quieting down. I started thinking about things I could do that would force me to be quiet. Because you have to force me. You have to be like, okay, now we're going to do this and this. So I started, kind of diving in. I started scripture writing. I just sit, I have a journal. It gives me a prompt every single day. I just write my scripture. It's hard to think about anything else when you're writing. And then I write a little thought for the day, and I make a word. Awesome. I started making goals. Now again, these weren't the goals like, okay, we're going to beat this quarter by 15%. We're going to do this, we're going to do this. It was things like, I'm going to have daily time with God. I'm going to write my scripture every day. I timed it. It takes me 11 minutes. I can do 11 minutes every single day. Again, recovery. I'm working on it. I specifically put in my goals that at least once a month, I'm going to go out somewhere and play with my kids. Again, I can't do that. I'm going to go to the gym. That goal's not as consistent. But again, whenever I'm at the gym, I can't do anything. Have you ever tried to jog on the treadmill and answer an email? Yes, you have. I know you have. I can't do it, so I'm not going to work on that skill. But I know that some of those things, again, because if I can just quiet my mind, because typically when I'm still, like this is what happens at home. Sit down, honey, sit down. I got it. Okay. Are you going to clean the kitchen after you put the dishes away? There's a towel right there. Or even it's, oh my gosh, I could be doing this right now. I could be doing this. Oh my gosh, I bet the kids didn't put their stuff in the laundry basket. I bet there's a wet towel on the laminate floor right now, warping it. And I start spinning. I just irritate, so I have to be purposeful with filling my still time with things that I know are going to go forward. Praying is also a good one. Sometimes I catch myself not doing that. It's like, okay, we're gonna be still. And not try to tell God how he's gonna fix the problem. That's another one of my things. I'm like, I don't know if anyone else has done that. Okay, God, I trust in you, I believe in you. If I could just have that $10,000, a brand new car, and a free nanny, this would all work out for me. But for me, again, this was God, and again, I don't think that God caused all these issues, but I think God absolutely used these issues to be like, you need to slow down. You're gonna burn out, and I got this. I actually got told today in a business meeting. Remember, there's only one Savior, and it's not you. It's kind of rough when they call your number, and you're like, why do you have to be saying true things on a Friday morning? This is my day. But I have realized I am a control freak. I titled this The Confessions of a Recovering Control Freak because I am in recovery, and for anyone who has been in recovery, you know it's a process. It is something I will constantly have to, remind myself. I try to make reminders for myself. Sometimes God smacks me in the face with reminders of, it's not for you. You're not supposed to, stop, shh, be still. All right, now there's one more. I have a part B to my speech. Because as I was talking about this, and I'd had lunch with had lunch with a friend, and I was like, man, we're talking about January, February this year, so I was like, all right, everything's getting a little better. I feel like I need to, start getting, get some of this out, get this shared, because again, I can't have gone through all of this stuff and it not be used for something. Like I just feel like this is how it's supposed to be. So, it's like I got through, we got through this. Things, had started, again, they had started getting better. And my dear friend was like, yes, absolutely, share. Like, you should do this. And, she's actually, a year ago, she was on this stage sharing about her story and how we wear our shame. Shame loves to wear itself like a little jacket around your shoulders and just be like, don't turn around, someone's going to see you. So, because we know, especially, oftentimes with women, it's like, oh, I can't really share that because, I'm not the best, I'm not this, for whatever reason. And we're like, no, I really shouldn't. But for me, what it really was is it wasn't, at first it didn't start as the shame of, like, oh, well, you're not this, you're not that. But I got hit really hard. Again, Aunt Renee came home. Spoiler alert, let me just go ahead and get that. So Aunt Renee, like I said, she had gone, we had to send her to Texas. But, after about a month, she was able to come home. DHS investigation is cleared. Everyone gets to come home. We are getting back into, we're getting back in the groove of things. Everyone's getting back in school. We're getting back in work. We've crossed a new year. 2018 is in the rearview mirror, hallelujah. And then I got super depressed. Like, down, dark, don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to eat anything. My family would be better off without me, depressed. And then I started having this little voice, because I'd already started kind of writing some stuff out, talking to Paula about, I think I might need to say something. I don't want to speak. And she's like, do you want to speak a little about dress? And I was like, or wear love? I was like, oh. She's like, how about August? I was like, oh, okay, that's like 5 months away. Totally got this. And then that little voice started, and it was like, are you really gonna get up in front of a stage in front of strangers and tell them that your child's attacked you? That you've called the police on them? You're gonna get up there and tell them that DHS came into your house and something had happened and they told your husband they had to leave? You're gonna get up there and tell them your story. No. They're going to judge you. They're gonna think you're a bad parent. They're going to think that obviously you have done something to, that all this stuff happened because you caused it. And I think a lot of us hear that voice. Sometimes it's immediately after something happens, sometimes it's 20 years after it happens, and it's that voice telling you for some reason that you're not good enough, or your ugly is too ugly. And sometimes that voice is just that little voice inside your head, don't say anything, they're not gonna know, make it look pretty, put a bow on it, everything's good. It's like when you yell at your kids in the parking lot and then you finish up the bow in their hair and everyone goes, here we are. Done that, I'm not, we will, don't worry. But again, and as I start, and I start talking to people and they're like, oh yeah, no, I can never help anyone. I can't tell them what I'm doing. I can't, some of us, we get hit with depression, anxiety, we start distracting ourselves. Again, we start trying to be super busy so we don't have to think about it. We start, trying to be distracted with money or shopping or eating or a multitude of other things. And what I can tell you is that after last year and then getting through it and finally getting on the other side of that mountain and then getting smacked with this, is that I fully believe that type of anxiety, depression, distraction, that is Satan trying to knock out the potential of your story. Right. And the more, and like I said, I was down. This week I was down. It was Sunday morning. I was like, no, wait, no, I can't do this. It's too hard. I'm not good enough to be sharing this story. But then, I'll think back at conversations. I remember last summer, one of my friends called me. We're just chatting about some work stuff, and then it's like, how are you? And it's like, well, so I have an open DHS investigation right now. And if anything goes down during it, I might get charged with failure to protect. But they won't tell me how to protect my family from my 15-year-old who we need protection from. And she was like, oh, I've been there. Yeah, okay, yeah. And it was like, wait, that's right. I knew this, yes, oh, wow. Yeah, because there's one of those things where you just start talking, you're not even really thinking. You're like, I don't even know anymore. I'm not sleeping or eating or anything else. And it was like, oh, okay, I'm not alone there. I'm not this. I've, talked to people when you're like, you don't start really talking about your story and maybe they let something slip and you're like, oh, I've done that. Like, I've been there. I've felt worthless in that situation. I didn't know we shared that. That's something, again, as someone starts opening up, but most of us will only sit down at the coffee shop in our corner and be like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm gonna tell you a little bit, but only if I really trust you and only if I think you won't tell anybody. So it's still, it's still living in that shame right there because we don't think that we're worth it. And I think with that, what I can tell you is that you're not alone. If you have a story, if it is dark, if you think that ugly is too ugly, I will really encourage you to share it with somebody, anybody. It could be you speaking it into your phone recorder at first, if that's what helps you. I mean, if you're like, whoa, yeah, no, haven't spoken it out loud in 30 years, not gonna say it. Okay, start with just speaking it out loud. So it's not hidden in the depths of your mind anymore. If you can, start sharing it with someone. Because you never know, that mountain that you had to overcome, maybe you overcame it just to prove to someone else that it could be overcome. And then one thing for people who maybe feel like they don't have a story, you're like, well, a pretty good life, typical upbringing, went to college, got married, all this. Those, I have found, are typically the encouragers. I can't tell you how many mornings I was able to get up, get dressed, do all that, just because I had someone text me and get, thinking about you, praying for you. Can I swing a coffee by? I've had people go to Costco for me. And again, my love language is acts of service, and sometimes acts of service is just being like, hey, we're behind you, we got you, you got this. I have no idea how to help you with this, because again, none of us can help with this, but we love you and we're here for you. Okay, thank you. Because again, when you're going through something like that, it's really hard to walk through, especially church doors. You're like, hey, don't ask me how it's going, because I don't want to lie in church. But luckily, again, there were people around me that I could be very open with, that I could share my story. And even now, as I've let people, peeking in a little bit before this, they're like, oh, yeah. Again, be like, oh yeah, totally called the cops on my kid. Oh yeah, we've had to use, we've had to use professional inpatient stays to do that. I got hooked up with a lady in Colorado. We're in this women's group, and this lady was like, oh my gosh, you need to meet her because you guys have so much in common. So we're just Facebook messaging back and forth, and she was like, oh yeah, actually my daughter's getting ready to get kicked out of a place in Arkansas today. It's like, wow, that was a really good, it's like. And sometimes you just have to know that the other person's not going to think you're crazy. Because that is also, someone's like, oh, I don't know what to do with that. You just gave me too much. And you're like, oh, sorry. Okay, we're going to back up a little bit. But again, whenever your situation, and I know in my situation, God used it to tell me, sit down, be quiet, be still, and trust me. Thank you.
So good. There's a few things I want to talk about that she shared with us tonight. First of all,